Simple and plain. To be the best, you have to win. That's why I play the game.
So, as we all know, Russell Westbrook has officially landed at the Los Angeles Lakers, and I can't remember a time where I've been more excited about an NBA season than the upcoming one, because with Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, we legitimately have three superstars who are still in their prime, who are also Hall of Famers. Now, if you don't think Russell Westbrook is a Hall of Famer, you just don't know NBA basketball. And then we also have two other players who, in my opinion, are also Hall of Famers in Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony. So the Lakers legitimately have 5 Hall of Famers on the one team. Like, that's just so crazy to me. And I can't remember a time where there's been that many Hall of Famers on the same team at the same time. You know, I can think about the Miami days when LeBron, D. Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen teamed up, or I can think about those Spurs days when Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Ginobili and them boys were doing their thing. Or I can think about the Warriors when they were so dominant, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, or the 96 Bulls with Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, and those guys like that. And of course, there was that classic Lakers team with Gary Payton, Kobe Bryant, Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal. But I'm pretty confident that this is the first team that's had 5 Hall of Famers in the one lineup. I'm pretty confident of that, but fact check me if I'm wrong. And comment down below, out of all the teams that I just mentioned, if they were to match up against each other, who would be victorious? Which team would be the most dominant? Comment down below right now. But in this video, I want to talk about how Russell Westbrook can bring back the Mamba mentality to this year's Lakers team, and why it's going to be key to the Lakers championship hopes. Now, if there's one player in the league that still embodies the Mamba mentality, we all know it's Russell Westbrook. And Kobe even said it himself. You know, if there's one guy in this league that really gets the Mamba mentality and really plays with that assassin-like mentality out there on the court, it's Russell Westbrook, because he's a player that's going to go out there, give it 110% on every single play every single possession like it's the last possession of his life, get up in guys' faces, defend the other team's best player, and really give it 110% on offense as well. And if we look back to when Kevin Durant parted ways with Russell Westbrook, if that was an ordinary player, they would have, went into their shell a little bit. But with a player like Russell Westbrook, he took on that challenge. He took it personally. And then when they eventually matched up, when Kevin Durant was on the Warriors, he didn't back down from the situation. In fact, he was up in Kevin Durant's face, yelling at him, saying all types of trash talk and stuff, and really giving it to him, and actually played quite well against the Warriors. So we got a player who's never going to back down, and who has a real sense of confidence and an attitude out there on the court. And that's why a player like Russell Westbrook is so appealing to some of the GOATs of our game in Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, because they see a little bit of themselves in Russell Westbrook. And that's ultimately why Jordan, wanted Russell Westbrook as one of his brand ambassadors and signed him to the Air Jordan brand. But why is this confidence, this attitude, this Mamba mentality so important for this year's Lakers team? Well, it's simply because we don't have a guy that can bring that sort of stuff to the table. Because if we think of our leaders, firstly, we'll start with LeBron James. He's more of a guy who's going to lead by example with the things he does off the court. How he conducts himself in the media, the things he's working on outside of basketball, how much of a hard worker he is during the season and in the off season. I don't think I've ever seen LeBron James take a day off. I don't know how he does it. He spends $1 million a year on his body. That's things that guys can learn from. And then on the court, he's obviously talking to guys and talking in the locker room, and that's how he leads. But he's more of a player who's going to set the example through his own play and how he breaks down play and stuff like that. And that's why he's so good, because he makes everyone around him so much better by studying the game. But he's not a guy that's going to go out there and get in the opponent's faces and really have your back out there. He's more of a guy that's going to sit back and deconstruct the game in his own mind and then figure out ways to break down the opponent's offense. And that's been the knock on LeBron James his whole career pretty much. How he doesn't have that assassin mentality, that Mamba mentality like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, where he can just go out there and be the alpha male and let everyone know in the arena that he's the man. And that's not to say that he's not as good as those guys. It's just that in terms of basketball, he has a different attitude towards it, whereby he's going to make the right play every single time, no matter the situation in the game. Whereas Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, you always know that they're going to take the last shot no matter what. They're going to live and die by that shot. And who's to say that any attitude is better than the other, because all three of these players are the GOATs of our game, and obviously they've been so successful. We then have our other superstar, Anthony Davis, who's quite like LeBron in the sense that he's more of a quiet dude who's going to stand back and let his basketball do the talking. He's the locker room guy who everyone loves, but again, he's not a guy that's going to go out there and really be that alpha male and get in the face of the opposition. And again, that's also been a knock on Anthony Davis his whole career, how he's a bit softer than other bigs in the league. And honestly, it is quite frustrating some games when he's constantly on the floor, when I know he can just go out there and dominate every single game, but sometimes he just tends to, stand back a bit, and I'm not too sure why. So we have these two leaders who, do a good job of leading the team, but they do it in this sort of quiet way, and I think just sometimes we need that guy who can be the heart and soul of our team and really just go out there and put everything on the line, and that's what I think Russell Westbrook can be. He can come in here and bring the Mamba mentality and leave no stone unturned every single night, and that's really going to help guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis who do stand back a bit, because when Russell Westbrook's coming down the lane at 100 miles an hour and dunking on dunkers and really getting fired up and shouting out to the crowd and the other team, you got to be on your game every single night and got to be really aggressive. And that's where I think bringing in Russell Westbrook is perfect, especially for Anthony Davis's game, because his aggressiveness is going to rub off on him. And I'm just hoping that Russell Westbrook brings out a piece in Anthony Davis's game that we haven't seen before, where he can just go out and be the most dominant big man in the league. And I'm actually going to bring out a video explaining why I think Anthony Davis can win league MVP this season, so keep a close eye out for that one. And then if we look at the other teams in the West, we have the Warriors, who have got dogs in Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who are going to come at you every single night. We also have the Clippers with Marcus Morris and cats like that. And we know that Patrick Beverley was a big part of that culture as well, even though he's ultimately been traded. But what I'm trying to say, we have these teams like Miami Heat even, that can really go out there and be dogs on the defensive end and the offensive end. And when it really comes down to it on a championship level, it's about who really wants it the most. And I think Russell Westbrook coming in is going to make us want it the most, that's for sure. Because overall, I just think he's going to take this team to another level and really bring that intensity and that never back down attitude, which I think we may have been missing a little bit over the past 2 years. But that's going to do it for the end of this video, guys. Let me know who you're most excited about seeing this year on the Lakers. But for now, it's been your boy Jay from Lakers Exclusive. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.